Shalom. Let me just turn up this volume. Shalom, my name is Yehoshua I'm a didactic scientist. I'm making this video from Jerusalem. The subject is McCain's so-called gaffe about oil. First, let us put on the record that the media, in particular the Washington media, has known very well that the entry into Iraq and the invasion was for oil. Saddam Hussein's linkage to Al Qaeda and the presumed suitcase of the 5 million or so bucks to after midnight to Osama bin Laden is theoretically sound, okay, but the historians can have their day with that. Now let's get to the real substance of the matter. It's been known and well established for some time that America's foray in war is in Iraq is for oil and to protect the strategic interests of the American economy and the flow of oil. McCain, having said it, the question, it begs the question, why is it that the media never reported it when they knew it? All these years that the war was going on, and 4,000 of our blessed young men were lost in this time. Let us be very clear that when Papa Bush encouraged George to run for the White House, he said, I'll put in your lap the political network and infrastructure, national infrastructure, to get you the nomination, and it's a shoo-in, you'll get elected. But the fact of the matter is, son, you're in short pants, and you're not really a very good candidate for president unless you have somebody who actually is going to run the presidency from behind the curtain. Thus enters none other than Tricky Dick. Cheney's been the president of the United States from day one. And if you want proof, first I want to just make an observation from my own perspective. He may be the vice president of the United States, but he isn't my vice president. The former chief executive Halliburton, let's put forth a little aside here. One statistic that is very, very relevant to the enthusiasm with which President Cheney promoted the war in Iraq and America's entrance under the pretext of rounding up Saddam Hussein and his henchmen is this. As the former CEO of Halliburton, we should take a little look at 2007's annual report, and we will see that there was record revenues in Halliburton, his former company, of let's see, $15.3 billion. Now, that's not a very big company. There are lots of companies much bigger. Hold on to your seat, folks. What do you think was the net profit? $3.5 billion. Now, if you do your arithmetic, that's 22.87% net profit. Can you tell me any company in America that makes 22.87% net profit? Folks, that's 47%. That's almost 50% gross profit. Well, somebody's scratching somebody's back, and somebody's getting winks, and somebody in the DOD is knowing how to execute these wonderful policies and programs, and everybody's making a lot of money. It's a disgrace. It's a shame. And here is this guy who has his network and his cronies attacking Barack Obama in the media, particularly his media proxies. Barack doesn't wear a pin with an American flag in his lapel. There you see old Tricky Dick standing up there all the time with that pin's right there in his lapel, or Halliburton pin. So we have here the significant difference between object reference patriotism and subject reference patriotism. Cheney is a fraud. He is deceitful. He's two-faced. He is a dishonest political hack. And he's been running the White House for the little boy in short pants who's dead asleep. And the mistakes are very great. But having said all of that, that's no news. Everybody knows that. The question is, what are we going to do about it? And the bottom line is that he was handpicked to run the White House because George was incapable and incompetent to do it. In the meantime, when a report of a compromised situation in Israel occurred called Israelgate, something I know quite a bit about, being the prime individual involved as a world-class scientist, taking leave and refusing to cooperate in another Pollard scam. When George Tenet came in and reported this, running in with his fire alarm running into the White House to Dick, old Tricky Dick dispatched Gonzalez. He fired Tenet for being a slob on the job, and he dispatched Gonzalez to the DOJ, the Department of Justice, to obstruct justice and run interference. And thus, folks, another story, just like Iran Gate and Israelgate. These things don't get in the, because there's a lot of boxes that old Tricky Dick Cheney is holding on to the tops to. Having said all of that, I won't go into any more details except to say that an American patriot I am, and I stood up to forces and paid an extremely heavy personal price in personal, economic, emotional, psychological suffering to be loyal to America, and was betrayed by this dog. And I have utter contempt for him. He's not my vice president. He's not a vice president of America or for Americans. He should be impeached, and the imbecile who runs the country should have been sent home long ago in his short pants. But having said that, that'll come out only after his tenure, because everybody's a coward. The press is a coward. The operatives, the Department of Justice knows the full story, and so does the Judiciary Committee know the full story. And they're sitting on it because it's too hot a potato. They don't want another Pollard affair. But having said that, it's a contemptuous experience that I've experienced, so I know a little bit about this matter and understand fully. Now I'll say only one more thing. We went into Iraq not only for oil; it was obvious, and the Saddam story was the pretext, but far more importantly, it was a totally, completely ignorant decision. It was largely Cheney's push and decision, not Bush's. Bush was just led into it because he's mindless. But the bottom line is 24/7, 365, there are hundreds of millions of cars, and the greenhouse gas of the carbon emissions have been linked scientifically to the cause of climate change. It's a planetary crisis. There has to be a fundamental transformation, and the transformation can only come from a world-class global technological infrastructure led by America in the G9, and that's based upon building it based upon the model of the new economic paradigm and its author. That's the solution. If they knew about that, if they had listened to this strategic over-the-horizon vision based upon international content, new science and technology, they would have had already a significant achievement already in the bank for ending this problem. They wouldn't have ever fought a war for oil in Iraq, and to continue that war for oil in Iraq is imbecilic. And that's what Barack Obama represents. He sees through this sham in President Cheney. And let's wake up, America, and let's get to the things that deliver democracy and send these thieves who are raiding the U.S. Treasury. Let's send them home once and for all and keep them out of Washington. They're a spurious. They're not needed in government. They're a specious lot. Having said that, I'm Yehoshua. Thank you for listening to me. I'm Yehoshua Yaakov from Jerusalem. Shalom.